Welcome back to your live continuing coverage of CE Week 2015 on BeTerrific. I'm Michael Artis. Thanks so much for joining us. I got to tell you, there's so many cool products here, so much great stuff. It's like being a kid in a candy shop. It's like having Christmas in July, but it's June. It's like, well, it's just awesome. And you guys are awesome. You're the Terrifics. You make BeTerrific special, and we're bringing it to you. That's what we want to do. By the way, check out Power Go-Go. I've got the iPhone 6 Plus charging wirelessly on the Power Go-Go, but it's also passing data. That's why I have the cable. It's connected to my computer right now, passing data. Some of those pictures I took with Noel, I want to be able to tweet them out real quick. It's easier to do it on a computer, so I'm passing the data over. It's amazing what you can do with Power Go-Go. You got to check them out. They've got the greatest wireless charging stuff, passes data, does all sorts of stuff, works in the car with a mount and everything. You got to check them out, powergogo.com. Sign up for their newsletter so that you can get an early bird price for their crowdfunding campaign that will start in about a month. Powergogo.com. All right, I've got Sunfire here. It's a core brand. Bill is back. We saw Bill yesterday.
With Panamax Power 360, yeah.
Panamax Power 360, great stuff. That powers the really great stuff. This is the Sunfire subwoofer. Tell me about this product.
This is the XTEQ, the top of the Sunfire line, brand new this year. We're looking at the 10-inch version here. It comes also in an 8 and a 12-inch version. Sunfire's got a legacy and a history of really putting maximum power into small enclosures, generally delivering far more sound than an enclosure, 3-4 times as large. It starts with the tracking down converter amplifier, which in this case is delivering 2,700 watts of power into the driver here. And the tracking down converter does that in a very efficient way, so you're not seeing massive heat sinks and external cooling devices. It's all right here in the box. It's delivering that power into the driver, and another one of our great technologies is the asymmetrical cardioid surround. So it's a thinner inner wall and a fatter outer wall, which really provides for a tight base as this thing gets pumping. And when you're delivering 2,700 watts of power, you want that tight base.
So I would imagine if you had a room that's, I would say your average room is probably like 10 by 20. Maybe your living room's about 20 by 30 or 20 by 40. If you had like a 50 by 50 room even, that would be a big room.
That would be a big room.
This thing could thump the room.
This thing could thump the room, and if you want even more boom in that room, you could hook up a second one of these and have it run as a slave, still off one control. There's a lot of controls on the side and input and outputs where you can do just that.
So, I mean, let's say I have somebody else's sound system, their speakers. I can use this with it, but you also have speakers as well?
Sunfire makes speakers as well. Some really cool ones, and also very small, a lot of power coming out of a very small enclosure.
But you can use it with anything.
Exactly. It's a standalone powered subwoofer, will work with any system.
And tell me about your speakers, though.
The Sunfire speakers?
Yeah.
Well, again, the concept is maximum output from a small enclosure. So, I mean, we're right across the room from you. Sorry if we occasionally turn it up a little bit too loud there. But we've got our Sunfire satellites there, which are literally about this big and will drive a phenomenal amount of power.
How much is this?
This one is going to be $1,750.
Very reasonable.
The top of the line is $2,000. The 8-inch model is $1,500.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's the best sound you're getting.
8-inch for $1,500.
For $1,500,
wow.
Yeah. And that's a lot of boom from an 8-inch speaker.
And then how much are the satellite speakers?
The satellites could be from 1,000 on up. I mean, it really depends what you want. You can do in-walls and everything as well.
Wow, very cool.
On the subwoofer here, I mean, you can tune this to your room. You're talking about, do you need more speakers?
Yeah, I was going to ask you. I saw you had a mic set up on your
so
stand.
the microphone here is really designed where you can set this in your primary listening position, and you can walk through the sequence, and it'll help you calibrate this subwoofer to the room, and then you calibrate that to your system as well, so you get the maximum quality.
You know, we just had Noel Lee from Monster on, and he was talking about how important the room is, and that he tried to create the room in his headphones, speakers for your ears. I love that in this case, you can't build just a room for this, or most people can't, most people don't, although some audiophiles do. So what you do instead of building the room is you tweak this to make this play to your room to make it the room.
Exactly, because there's going to be the opportunity for where the subwoofer should be and then where it has to be because of other furnishing requirements. And we're able to tune that with the calibration here, as well as there's a phase control. So if you're bringing that subwoofer out from the wall, you might want to adjust the phase so it's nicely, in sync with your speakers.
Where would you put the subwoofer? A lot of people think center of the room and against the wall. Where would you recommend putting it?
It's really going to depend on your room and on the furnishings in your room. And, anything could happen depending on the ceiling height.
Sure.
But with the calibration here, you can move that around and find out where it sounds the best.
And this is really, a subwoofer has really become the centerpiece of your audio system, or your speakers really, because I guess you have a center channel too, but this is really the centerpiece because you have, of course, the heart is really the amplification, right? But this is the centerpiece because everybody loves bass, and bass helps bring things alive, whether you're watching a movie or television. I mean, the thump from Jurassic Park, right?
Oh, absolutely.
That's bass.
It's part of the experience.
It's part of the experience.
Yeah.
It makes it immersive.
It really does. I mean, I talked to somebody earlier yesterday here at the show who has their subwoofer mounted directly behind their sofa where they're sitting, so he can get that pulse from the back.
You want to hear something funny? Is I knew somebody who had a 1,000-watt Macintosh amp in their car, and these crazy 15-inch subwoofers, and they had them in the trunk, and then they funneled the audio up through the back of the car behind the back seats, and man, it was thumping. It was cool. It's exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Now, you can see the quality. I mean, it's unbelievable. Quality is hard, especially in such a low price point. How are you guys able to achieve this quality at such a low price?
Well, it's our legacy of putting all that attention to the detail.
I mean, because it's easy to make something that thumps. It's hard to make something that thumps right, that sounds good, and that's put together well and has quality. And one of the things with subwoofers over the years that have become problematic, which you guys don't suffer from, is that when things inside are made poorly, it starts to rattle, and that bass rattles everything, and instead of getting a thump, you get a rattle. It's like this vibration that just sounds terrible.
Yeah, so our engineers put lots of attention to every detail that is going to make the subwoofer sound great when you pull it out of the box, as well as years later when you're still using it.
It's really cool stuff. So people go to sunfire.com?
Sunfire.com, find a retailer near you.
Okay.
It's the XTEQ line.
It's really, really great. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you.
This is really awesome. I hope you had a lot of fun. I know that our viewers, the Terrifics, they're already going to Sunfire right now. Let me see. Oh, we actually do have a question from CJ. He's watching in our Slack chat, and he wanted to know, they had a lot of questions during the last interview. I skipped through them, so I don't want to do it here. And I apologize, guys. You are the Terrifics. Do you recommend putting this on a pedestal like this it is now? I know we're doing this for display purposes, but getting it off the floor, or is it much better on the floor?
I think it's best on the floor on a hard surface.
Sure.
I mean, this has a lot of vibration. We've got anti-walking tread on our
Sure.
feet, to help keep it under control. But when these things get moving, I wouldn't really put up on a pedestal. We're on television here.
Right, yeah, and we're showing it off. Unfortunately, we're not plugged into anything.
Yeah.
Ben Rathig wants to know if it comes in different colors.
No, it comes in any color you like as long as it's piano black.
You've got piano black and piano black?
Piano black.
But personally, this would be the color I would pick, and I'll tell you why. It has to fade into the background of your room. You don't want this to be...
It goes with everything. I
Right.
mean, it's an elegant finish.
Sure. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And Planet Mitch, who's watching, who wrote us a nice note about our last interview and about the coverage. Thank you, Planet Mitch. Also wanted to know, and you can go to his website, planet5d.com, the best, biggest, and baddest DSLR blog. Great reviews, great learning, all sorts of stuff. We do a lot of stuff with Planet 5D. If you want to go to planet5d.com,
Well, check 'em out.
Check them out. If you want to find out anything about DSLRs, photo or video, they
Excellent.
specialize in video. But he wants to know, when you're shooting a movie or a documentary and you talk about 5.1 or 7.1, how important is it to plan out the bass, or do you let that just happen?
Well, I think from the producer's perspective, you'd want to plan that out so you don't have any unforeseen surprises if you end up with too much, kind of ambient low tones.
And is it, I know it's really interesting. Metallica used to take their recordings. They used to get into a crappy car, like they called it a hoopty, right? And they would put a cassette tape into the dashboard on these terrible speakers, and they listen to it because they said, look, most of the people who will buy our music will
have
listen
a
to it.
bandwidth of about this.
Right, we want to know how they're going to hear it. Now, obviously, people upgrade all their stereos and all that all the time, but is it good when producing, especially higher quality, especially when people are watching at home and they have their home theaters and they have the surround sounds and everything that they should produce and test on something like this?
Oh
too?
yeah, I think your quality producer is going to be testing on a variety of listening
Different
environments,
things, yeah.
and this will be one of them. Your ultimate theater system.
Sunfire.com.
Sunfire.com.
Bill, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's been good.
I really appreciate it.
Always
And,
good to be here.
I do want to give the PanX stuff one more plug. It's Power 360
Power
because
360.
anytime you plug this or anything else into electrical power, you really should make sure it's done correctly. If you do the PanX stuff, it'll be managed correctly and it gives you warnings if there's a problem. It's really important with electronics. So we talk about all these electronics. You got to check that stuff out as well, the Power Max 360, and that goes well with this.
I know it's been a busy day, but it's Panamax and it's Power 360.
Panamax Power 360.
No
Thank
worries.
you. I apologize.
Panamax.com.
But it's Panamax.com
Or Sunfire.com.
and Sunfire.com. It's really good pair for this. Anytime you're plugging anything like this in a lot of power, you need to make sure it's managed correctly.
Protect your electronics.
Panamax. But Sunfire, this is awesome. Sunfire.com. Wow, it's as simple as that. Go to Sunfire.com right now. Check it out. We'll be back with a whole lot more right after this. Your live continuing coverage of CE Week 2015 on BeTerrific from New York City. You're the Terrifics. I'm Michael Arches. You make BeTerrific special. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back right after this.